and into the playoffs. Will take place tomorrow. Games taking place all morning. 3 pool play games to have for you across the 4 different pools. And then power pools will have teams reseed at the end of the preliminary or round robin play. Glenn Martin back to serve here now for Jaft. Passed up by Oliveira. Rowe comes back behind the attack line, set to the left side to O'Brien off the block and comes back over. And the first 2 points of this second set go to Jaft. Good close on that right side pin. Got 3-0 for Jaft to start here in the second set. And again, Martin back to serve, picked up by Oliveira, sent over on the free ball. Run to the left side pin, the roll down the line, picked up by Rowe. Second ball by Sugarman, just going to get cut across over the top in the middle by O'Brien. And they run the middle this time to Jeremy Murray. He's able to cut around the block set in the middle on the Pebbles side of the net. And a fast start to the second set here for Jaft. Deep float serve, passed up by Oliveira. Rowe into the middle to Sugarman off the top of the block. Able to scramble to get there was Matt McGurr, but unable to pick it up. Drops to the open floor and on the board for the second set are the Pebbles and Luke Paul back to serve. Float serve by Paul. Run to the right side, straight down the line, picked up by Oliveira. Great location on defense. But the point does go to Jaft. And back to serve now is Lorty. Passed up again, Oliveira. Rowe into the middle, great run to Dante Sugarman. They run in behind the setter.
2 seconds. I was just looking to see if you were still around.
Sugarman with a float serve. Set to the left side, straight down the line. It's picked up by Rowe as the block drifting across, but able to swing with some pace straight down the line. As Murray will now go back to serve here for Jaft. Their lead continues to grow. Passed up there by Luke Paul. Kept alive by Rowe, just going to get sent over in the free ball by O'Brien. Set to the left side, off the top of the block. Able to get there is Oliveira. Kept alive and tipped over the top of the net by Callahan, and it's going to go wide of the court. For another point for Jaft as they lead 7-2. As Murray continues to serve here for Jaft. Good pace on the serve, and it's up into the ceiling. Off the forearms there of Murillo Oliveira. Hard, aggressive serve by Jeremy Murray. Again, the first match of pool play here at the Volleyball Pro Am. Rowe to the right side. O'Brien straight down. They're going to say hit the antenna. So the attacking error on the swing by O'Brien. Good run to get the right side open on that far right side pin. But contact on the antenna and a service error this time by Murray. Gives point and service back to the Pebbles. And it will be O'Brien back to the service line here for Pebbles. A spinner from O'Brien is short into the net. Set to Luke Paul out of the pipe. The attacking error going to go wide of the courts. Point goes back to Jaft. Float serve passed up by Callahan. Callahan gets it back on the left side pin, cuts down the line. Set back to the left side pin. The swing is there by Zeithamel as he comes down the line. And they're going to call Jaft on the net. So point goes to the Pebbles. And it'll be Callahan back to the service line now for Pebbles. Callahan goes up and gets it on an aggressive spin serve. Touched, gonna get contacted by Paul on the block. Off the top of the block, and it goes off and deflects out. Point goes to Pebbles. And it is 11-5 the lead now for Jaft. Callahan continuing to serve. 3 dropped in and receive on the far side for Jaft. High spinner. Served by Callahan, goes out the back on this service error. As Jaft will take service back. It'll be Zeithamel back to serve now. Deep float serve. It's going to go out the back on the service error by Zeithamel. As Ethan Levesque will come back to serve now for Pebbles. Be a spinner from Levesque. Good pass up and receive by McGurr. Touched over red in the middle by Sugarman. So it gets sent back, and the point goes to Pebbles to continue to chip away. They're down 12-7. Deep serve by Levesque, this time a service error. As the receive from Jaft let that one go out the back. 13-7, the advantage now for Jaft, to again lead 1-0. As Warren Taylor will back to serve now for Jaft. Passed up by Paul. Rowe back to Paul on third contact off the top of the block. As Taylor in a good spot defensively, but just out of his arm reach to pass that one up after contact on the top of the block. And that'll bring McGurr back to the back row for serve receive for Jaft. Yurgo Rowe. Float serve for Pebbles. Set back to the left side, and good swing off the top of the block that time by Bruno Lortie. Able to take a bit of pace off the swing and just rolls it into the block and out of play. Good swing decision that time by Lortie. Passed up by Paul. Rowe into the middle to Sugarman, and the push, no contact on the block. As the run out of the middle goes the length of the court. It 15-8, the advantage now for Jaft. Rowe to the far side. Cut back across by O'Brien. Good pick up there by Sugarman. As O'Brien trying to wipe it off the top of the block and pulling hands away was O'Coin. As O'Brien trying to go for the tool off the top of the block. Rowe to the right side to Paul. Rolls it over McGurr. Set back to the right side, and the overset leads to the attack by O'Brien. As Luke Paul will come back to serve now for the Pebbles. Passed up by McGurr to the left side. O'Coin trying to cut down the line. We're going to say hands. No contact on the block, so the attacking error from O'Coin. Passed up by McGurr on serve receive. Set into the middle, tipped over the top. Dug up by Rowe, and then passed back over by Callahan. It's a side out that time by Pebbles. They're trailing 16-11. And looking to push this to a third and deciding set. And it's a service error this time. Luke Paul, just a little heavy float serve. Doesn't dip. As Lortie will go back to serve now for Jaft. Passed up by Paul. Rowe, touch backwards to Sugarman. I'm going to say contact on the top of the block there on the swing by Dante Sugarman. As a float serve by Sugarman goes at McGurr. The cut by O'Coin off the top of the block gets recycled. And tipped down the line by Jonas Zeithamel. Able to find a bit of a gap in the block. As Zeithamel with the swing, it's 18-12 for Jaft, looking to close out the second set and take the match 2-0. Passed up by Paul. Second ball taken by O'Brien over to Callahan. Off the top of the block. Pebbles, it's 19-13. As O'Coin with a float serve. Pass to Callahan, tips down the line, passed up by O'Coin. Set by Martin to the left side, rolled by Zeithammer, a little too much pace. Doesn't get the roll on the block, and it goes out the back. And the attacking error this time from Jaft. Gives another point back to Pebbles. Off the tape on the serve from Callahan. Set to the left side, Zeithammer off the top of the block. Picked up by O'Brien. Oliveira now to the outside to Paul. Run into the middle, and the block there by Luke Paul and Ethan Levesque. A good swing out of the middle that time by Taylor. But Paul, with the help side block, comes in and supports the block set up by Levesque. And Pebbles are within 4. Passed up by McGurr. Set to the left side off the top, and a good swing this time on the response by Zeithammer. Sees the block set up to that far right side pin. And able to tool off the top of the block. It's 20-16. Set from Rowe to the outside to Paul. It's a swing off the block and out of play. And the point goes back to Pebbles on the side out. Swing by Paul as he finds hands on the block as Levesque go back to serve now for Pebbles as they trail 20-16 here in the second set. And it's a service error this time by Levesque. Trying to go for the hybrid as the topper doesn't get the spin to drop down, as now Taylor will go back to serve here for Jaft. Warren Taylor, float serve, comes up the platform there of Callahan, and it's an overpass and out of play. So the ace to Taylor. The serve receiving error from the Pebbles as Taylor go back to serve once again. Goes 5-6. Rowe into the middle to Sugarman. Was back over as Rowe tips it over the top. Set back to the left side. Rolled off the top. Able to get there is O'Brien, but unable to keep it alive. Another point for Jaft as they lead 23-16. 2 points to push now to close out the opening match here of the Volleyball Pro Am in Kingston. Taylor, serve again. Rowe into the middle to Sugarman, trying to swing away but can't find the court or the hand set up on the block, but a good run into the middle. And it's now set and match point here for Jaft as Taylor continues to serve. Straight down at Oliveira. Set to the C-ball, and the block coming across by Murray puts an end to the second set. And an emphatic way to end the match for Jaft as they take the second set 25-16. And they win the match 2-0, and the opening match here at the Volleyball Pro Am. As we get set for match number 2 here in Pool A play here at the feature courts at the Volleyball Pro Am here at the Athletics and Recreation Center on the campus of Queen's University in Kingston. You're watching the Volleyball Pro Am here on Volleyball Source live on YouTube. And you can join us back for the second match here in Pool A play as Jaft takes the opening 2-0. As Murray comes across and ends the second set and the match 25-16. Join us back for the second match upcoming here shortly.
That was gross. That was filthy good ending. All right. So then, so what's the next matchup? It's going to be, I don't know. I'm going to talk to Zach. Because like right now it's like we do like one pool and then one pool. So I think for the next round we should like.
I think it's the same rule
Yeah.
for all three.
I think we should switch it up.
Welcome back to Volleyball Source and the Volleyball Pro Am tournament here in Kingston, Ontario. It is match number 2 in Pool A. It'll be Pebbles taking on Pacman. So the Pebbles roster, the setting is Yurgo Rowe. We have Murillo Oliveira, Dante Sugarman, Ethan Levesque, Seth O'Brien, Liam Callahan, and Luke Paul. And for Pacman, Quentin Greenridge, Shawan Vernon, Terrell Bramwell, Will Basilio, Jazraj Najjar, Matthew Powell, and Jaskaran Kalsi. So Pebbles dropping their opening match of pool play in 2 sets against Jaft. And Pacman playing in their first match of the tournament, come into the tournament as the top seed. And then we'll be playing back-to-back after the conclusion of this matchup with Pebbles. They will take on Jaft in the 3rd of 3 pool play games before we reset for power pools, which will take place this afternoon and set up tomorrow's playoff round, which has a pre-quarter, quarter, semis, and finals. Again, 4 courts going across here at the campus of Queen's University. And some outstanding volleyball and teams and players lined up for this competition. As again, we see Pebbles taking on Pacman here on our feature court. As teams finish up their warm-up, and we will get set for the opening serve. Best 2 out of 3 here in the pool play, as is the case for power pools. Again, that'll reset later this afternoon. And it'll set up the playoffs heading into tomorrow. As warm-up now concluded, and we will get underway here to start the second match of pool play. As we mentioned, Jaft taking both sets in the opener against Pebbles. And Pebbles looking to respond here as they take on Pacman. Greenridge liberoing for Pacman, as Oliveira liberoing for Pebbles. Jazraj Najjar will be running the offense for Pacman, as Rowe will be setting on the opposite side for the Pebbles. So we get a look at the rest of the setup here for both sides. Be Sugarman and Levesque out of the middle for Pebbles. O'Brien as the opposite for the Pebbles, and swinging on the left side will be Luke Paul and Liam Callahan. Right side will be Will Basilio. Oh, excuse me. Left side will be Basilio, dropped into serve receive. Opposite Shawan Evans, as Bramwell will be on the right side. And out of the middle will be Kalsi and Powell. So the opening serve of the opening set will be passed up by Greenridge. Set to the far side, Basilio, movement on the net, and the swing from Basilio finds the open floor. And the first point of the opening set will go to Pacman. That'll bring Najjar back to serve here for Pacman. Yes, with a hybrid serve. Catches the tape there by Najjar and comes back the other way. So service error from Jazraj Najjar. And gives a point back to Pebbles, and it'll be Luke Paul back to serve. Float serve by Paul, and gives a service error right back the other way. Catches the tape as well. As Basilio will come back to serve now for Pacman. A spinner upcoming from Will Basilio. Passed up by Oliveira. Rowe to the right side to O'Brien off the top of the block. Passed up on defense by Basilio. Najar to the right side. Bramwell rolls over top. Passed up defensively by Paul, but it goes the width of the court and out of play. Point goes to Pacman. As Basilio back to serve once again here. The high toss from Will Basilio, and it goes wide of the court. That'll be a service error from Pacman. And the point goes to Pebbles. With Dante Sugarman back to serve. 3 dropped in and received. Float serve passed up by Evans. Najar to the outside. Swing off the top there by Greenridge. Pass to the outside. Roll from Callahan. Second ball taken by Evans. High ball to the right side pin. Bramwell off the top of the block. Passed up by O'Brien. Rowe comes into the front court. Callahan goes cross. Passed up by Evans. Vernon, excuse me. Roll off the top. Rowe. High ball to O'Brien, who cuts down the line. Good pick up there by Shawan Vernon. Rolled off the top. Scrambled defensively here from Pacman. Greenridge off the block, though, puts an end to the rally. And a good swing by Quentin Greenridge. Tools off the hands of O'Brien and out of play. And it's 4-2, the advantage now for Pacman. With Matthew Powell serving, they run into the middle, do the Pebbles to Ethan Levesque. It's an attacking error into the net. And that'll bring Powell back to serve once again here for Pacman. Float serve, passed up by Luke Paul. To the right side, O'Brien off the block. And drops out of bounds on the tool on the swing by Seth O'Brien. And it will be O'Brien back to serve now for Pebbles. A spinner from Seth O'Brien. Passed up by Vernon. Basilio gets there on second ball. Sent over on the free ball by Greenridge. O'Brien takes first contact. Rowe out of the pipe to Paul off the block. On the swing by Luke Paul off the hands of Just Karen Kelsey. And they run the set out of the back row to Luke Paul. And 5-4 now the advantage for Pacman. Back-to-back points for the Pebbles. And a service error this time by O'Brien. Serve goes into the net, and that'll bring Terrell Bramwell back to serve now for Pacman. A spinner upcoming for Bramwell. Good serve by Terrell Bramwell. Rowe, the good dump over the top as Yurgo Rowe sees the gap. He just gets the dump over the top. Greenridge pinching in to help block and vacates the spot open in position 4, and just the dump over the top there by Rowe. Brings Pebbles back within 1. Passed up by Basilio. Najar to the outside. Greenridge off the block there. Good find that time by Quentin Greenridge. Finds a gap in the block set up by the Pebbles. That'll bring Greenridge back to serve. Float serve by Quentin Greenridge. Set by Rowe to the outside, having to adjust as O'Brien. Second ball taken by Vernon. Basilio high over the top. It's going to be an attacking error as the swing can't find the back corner. (7-6) the advantage now for Pacman as Ethan Levesque back to serve. And it's in a service error this time from the Pebbles. Too much pace on the swing that time. As Kelsey go back to serve now for Pacman. A spinner from Kelsey, and too much underneath the ball, can't get it to turn over, and it's a service error. That'll bring Shawan Vernon back onto the floor. And Rowe back to the service line. Yurgo Rowe. Float Float serve, passed up by Greenridge. Najjar met by the block there by Paul. Najjar trying to go for the dump. And we're tied at 8 here in the opening set. Float serve by Rowe. Deep ball passed up by Greenridge. Najjar set to the right side. Swing straight down the line. What an attack that time by Terrell Bramwell. Great flick on the set there by Najjar. Able to find Bramwell coming across. Puts it down to the open floor with pace. And Pacman regained the lead. Najjar. Float serve. The overpass there this time passed up by Vernon, set into the middle. The attack by Powell. Sugarman there for the block. A great run into the middle to Matthew Powell, and Najjar back to serve once again here for Pacman. 10-8 the advantage. Good hybrid serve that time by Najjar. Rowe into the middle. Sugarman met by the block, and it's able to find a bit of space as Matthew Powell is there. But a bit of spacing off the net, and the swing by Sugarman finds a gap. Passed up on receive. To the outside, Basilio off the top of the block, scrambling to get there is Paul. O'Brien, forearm pass back over to Callahan. Basilio, Najjar, back to Basilio. Straight down to the floor by Will Basilio. Finds a gap in the block between Callahan and Sugarman. As Basilio will come back to the service line now for Pacman. 11-9 the advantage. Spinner from Basilio. It's a bit too much on it. Can't turn over. A service error this time from Pacman. Point goes to the Pebbles, and Sugarman will go back to serve. Dante Sugarman. Passed up by Vernon. Najjar into the middle. Good run to Powell. Picked up defensively, though, by Pebbles. Sent over on the free ball. Vernon, Najjar. Right side, Bramwell tips over the top. Good find location-wise by Bramwell. Able to scramble to get contact there was Levesque, but second ball drops to the open floor. As Matthew Powell will now go back to serve here for Pacman. It's a 12-10 advantage. Passed up there. High ball to O'Brien, cuts down the line. Najjar runs the pipe to Basilio, and they're going to call Pacman on the net. So the point's going to go to the Pebbles, who are back within one. It's 12-11. Seth O'Brien back to serve. 3 dropped in and serve receive here for Pacman, including Basilio, Greenridge, and Vernon. Passed up by Vernon and tipped over as the overpass comes tight to the tape and put back by Callahan. And we're tied at 12 in this opening set. Serve again upcoming. And wide of the court this time on the service error by O'Brien. And that'll bring Terrell Bramwell back to the service line here for Pacman. Spinner from Bramwell with tons of pace, but it's picked up by Paul. To the outside, tipped over by Callahan, and they're going to give the point to Pacman on the lift on the far side. And it's 14-12 now for Pacman. Bramwell serving again. Clips the tape and can't get the friendly roll, and it's a service error from Pacman. Gives a point back to the Pebbles. And Liam Callahan will back to serve. 14-13 in this first set. The second matchup in Pool A. And finding the back line. They're going to say it's an ace for Pebbles as Callahan finds the back line. And we're tied at 14. Basilio, Greenridge, and Vernon. Set up and receive here for Pacman. Passed up by Vernon. Najjar makes the adjustment. They're going to say it contact by Paul. And the point's going to go to Pebbles. Contact on the overpass. Put back on the flush. And it's 15-14. Pebbles have the lead. Serve again by Callahan. Great pass up though by Basilio. To the outside. Attacking error by Quentin Greenridge. Had a good setup to the outside and just can't quite get the contact he was looking for. It goes the length of the court. And it's a 2-point advantage now for Pebbles. They lead 16-14. Callahan opts for the float serve this time. Hand pass by Basilio to Bramwell off the top of the block. And unable to get there is Callahan. As the Pacman able to side out. Quentin Greenridge back to serve now for Pacman as they trail 16-15. Fast float serve. Passed up by Callahan. Rowe to the outside to Paul. Straight down the line, able to scoop and pick it up as Basilio sent over on the free ball. O'Brien, first contact. Rowe into the middle to Levesque. And Ethan Levesque able to find a seam in the block. The 2-point lead back for the Pebbles at 17-15. Levesque back to serve now for Pebbles. Ethan Levesque straight down the line, passed up by Basilio. High ball from Greenridge to the outside, back to Basilio, triple block sealed from Pebbles. Rowe to the right side. Hard cross there by O'Brien, but can't find the turn on the ball. Hits it straight out of bounds, but had plenty of pace on the swing. And it's 17-16 for Pebbles. As Jaskaran Kelsey back to serve now for Pacman. Float serve by Kelsey. Rowe into the middle to Sugarman. Kelsey scrambles, going to get sent over on the free ball by Basilio. Rowe to the outside to Paul. Luke Paul finds the back corner. Good run to the outside by Yurgo Rowe on the set. Finds the swing coming across to Luke Paul. And it's 18-16 for Pebbles. And Rowe will back to serve and backhands now for Pebbles. Float serve from Rowe. Taken by Vernon. Set to the outside. Basilio, good dig defensively by Murillo. Oliveira to get contact on it, but too much pace on the swing by Basilio. Can't keep it alive, and Pacman are back within one with Najjar back to serve. Float serve by Jazraj Najjar. Run into the middle. It's met by a block by Powell. As they run into the middle to Sugarman. Pacman tie it back up here at 18. Serve from Najjar. Passed up by Oliveira. High ball management to the outside as O'Brien gets cut in, but the block is set up by Powell and Basilio. A little tight to the net. 3 straight points for Pacman, bring them back out in front, 19-18. Najjar still serving here for Pacman. Float serve passed up by Paul. Rowe able to get there to O'Brien off the top of the block. Basilio gets there. Najjar to the right side. Bramwell straight down the line. Great set by Najjar to find Terrell Bramwell. And an overload to the right side, and Bramwell straight down the line as Pacman now up 20-18. Oliveira. Yurgo Rowe, tipped by Luke Paul, comes back across as the throw tip brings an end to the service run by Najjar, and it'll bring Luke Paul back to the line. 20-19, the advantage now for Pacman here in the opening set of the second match of Pool A play. Vernon, Najjar into the middle. Powell, good pickup by Paul. Sugarman keeps it alive, sent over on the free ball by O'Brien. Set to the right side again, Basilio. Straight to the open floor, Will Basilio. As Najjar got the block to bite and then flicks back behind his head to Will Basilio. 21-19, the lead now for Pacman. The late stages of this first set. Tipped by Rowe, met by a block by Powell as they try to run the back 30. The 51, excuse me, to Sugarman. Callahan. To the outside to O'Brien, rolls over the top. Hand pass there by Vernon. Can't handle that one to keep it central. It goes off hands and out of play. And it's 22-20 for Pacman. Deep float serve. It's going to go well out the back on the serve by Sugarman. 23-20. And Matthew Powell. Back to serve for Pacman. The overpass leads to a swing by Kelsey. Finds the back corner. And it's set point now for Pacman, 24-20. A good battle back and forth between these two sides in the opening set. As Powell, passed up by Oliveira, the overpass swings there by Greenridge. And the attack by Quinton Greenridge on the overpass puts an end to the opening set as Pacman take it 25-20. And lead the match 1-0 as the teams will switch sides and get set for the second set. Looks like they're actually going to stay where they are. But again, the lead changes back and forth between these two sides in the opening set. Ultimately goes the way of Pacman. They take it 25-20. As we get set for the second set. See if there's any changes between these two teams, if the lineups stay the same. Again, the second match of Pool A play, the first matchup between Jaft and Pebbles went to Jaft in straight sets. And that will be our next matchup here on Court A between Jaft and Pacman. That'll take place starting around noon. So again, 12 teams making up our draw here. And teams playing their 2 pool play games, and at the conclusion of the pool play games will get reseeded into the power pools, which will start shortly after the conclusion of pool play. And be 2 more power pool matchups that'll take place later this afternoon before teams reset and play into the playoff round starting tomorrow morning. So Najjar will start the serve for the second set. Passed up by O'Brien. Callahan on the serve receive. Passed up by Greenridge. Going to get sent over on the free ball. Passed up by Oliveira. Rowe to the right side to O'Brien. Out of the back row. Najjar set. Just going to get sent over by Basilio. And Basilio flushes it back. The ball tight to the tape. And the opening point of the second set goes to Pacman. Jazraj Najjar back to serve again for Pacman. Good find on the location. Rowe into the middle to Sugarman off the top of the block. Najjar to the right side. Bramwell finds a spot in between the block of Paul and Sugarman. As Terrell Bramwell converts on the attack on the right side. Float serve by Najjar. Rowe to the outside to Paul, met by a block, picked up by Powell, and just tipped over by Bramwell. Goes over top of the block set up by Paul. First 3 points of the second set go to Pacman. Deep float serve as Oliveira picks it up. Rowe to the C ball to O'Brien off the block. Set by Basilio and Powell. And the first point of the second set for Pebbles. It's a C-ball attack by Seth O'Brien. Yurgo Rowe back to serve now for Pebbles. 3 dropped in and receive, including Vernon, Greenridge, and Basilio. Najjar into the middle, blocked by Sugarman as Powell with the attack, trying to cut towards 5, but Sugarman able to read and get contact on the block. And Pebbles back within 1. Rowe, deep float serve, passed up by Vernon into the middle, and Powell responds as Najjar goes right back to Matthew Powell, who cuts the opposite direction this time. 4-2 for Pacman with Basilio back to serve. A spinner upcoming by Will Basilio, takes a bit off. Passed up by Callahan. Rowe to the far side, as adjusting there is Luke Paul. Najjar back to Bramwell, sent over on the free ball. Paul, Rowe, middle to Sugarman, passed up Basilio, kind of jams him a little bit. Thought maybe it was coming with a bit more pace, but slows down enough off the top of the block and kind of jams up Basilio a little bit defensively. And the point goes to Pebbles. They're back within 1, trailing 4-3. Paul passed up by Greenridge. Najjar to the right side. Bramwell to the outside of the block, as Terrell Bramwell finds some space close to the pin. So the line shot working well for Terrell Bramwell. And Powell, good pass by Callahan, tipped over the top, and defensively position 1 vacated for Pebbles, and the tip back the other way from Pacman. Finds the open floor, and it's 6-3 now for Pacman. Spinner from Powell, passed up by Luke Paul. O'Brien with contact there on the swing. They run to Basilio out of the pipe, picked up by Oliveira, and then Bramwell just lets the ball come to the tape and just, instead of swinging away, just make sure that that one goes to the floor. As Powell will back to serve again. Off the forearms there of Oliveira in the overpass. Najjar back to Bramwell, swings off the top of the block. Picked up by Paul to the right side. O'Brien on the swing of the right side pin, as Seth O'Brien responds for the Pebbles, and it's 7-4. Basilio, Greenridge, and Vernon into serve receive for Pacman. Najjar to the outside, Greenridge off the block and out of play on the tool. The block was set by Levesque and O'Brien, but Greenridge able to find hands and out of play for the tool. And it's 8-4 now for Pacman. It's square serve that time by Bramwell. A lot of pace and movement on the serve by Terrell Bramwell. And it's 9-4, the advantage now for Pacman here in the second set. Looking to close this one out in straight sets. A spinner from Bramwell. Passed up this time by Callahan. Rowe to the right side. O'Brien gets through the block. Picked it up there by Vernon. Sent over on the free ball by Bramwell. Rowe to the left side. Off the block. Picked up by Vernon. Bramwell left side to Greenridge. Tipped over the top. Picked up now that time by Rowe. Sent over on the free ball. Bramwell to Najjar to the outside. Greenridge off the block and out of play, as Levesque and O'Brien get up for the block, as Quentin Greenridge swings off the right hand of the block set up by O'Brien and out of play for the point for Pacman. 10-4 now. Another strong serve is passed up by Luke Paul. Set to the outside. Callahan finds a seam in the block, picked up by Basilio. High ball to the outside as Greenridge swings away down the line. High ball set out of system by Terrell Bramwell. Goes high to that left side pin. And Quentin Greenridge swings down the line to extend the Pacman lead to 11-4. Another hard, aggressive serve by Bramwell. Hard to pass that one up, coming with so much pace. finds the seam between 5 and 6. As the lead is up to 8 now for Pacman. Another bomb of a serve, that time by Bramwell. Off the arms there of Callahan. And it's 13-4 as Bramwell continues to serve. High toss from Bramwell. Good pass this time and received by Luke Paul, but it comes tight to the tape. Vernon able to get there, sent over on the free ball by Kelsey. Oliveira to the right side. O'Brien puts an end to the run by Pacman on a swing from the right side. Kelsey and Greenridge coming together to form the block, but able to find a gap there is O'Brien in the attack, and it's 13-5. And a service error this time by O'Brien, just missing the sideline. And that'll bring Quentin Greenridge back to serve now for Pacman. 14-5. Kind of a pop float serve that time by Greenridge, and the attacking error out of the middle. As the point goes to Pacman, it's 15-5, and Greenridge continues to serve. A tight serve receive for the Pebbles. Passed up off the arms of Paul as O'Brien able to scramble to keep it alive. Sent over on the free ball. Najjar to the outside. Basilio cuts down the line. Good adjustment there by Will Basilio to see the gap on the outside of the block. Just opens up that left side shoulder and able to cut down the line. Oliveira on receive. Rowe to the outside to Callahan. Triple block sealed by Basilio. As Oliveira going to get sent over on the free ball. And Najjar just able to get the tight ball coming to the tape and dumps over the top with the left hand. And it's 17-5 for Pacman here in the second set. Spinner this time from Greenridge goes into the net. As the Pebbles get a point back. Spinner upcoming by Callahan, passed up, good serve received by Greenridge, and they run it to Kelsey on the back set by Najjar. And it's 18-6 now for Pacman. Serve coming from Kelsey. Be a spinner by just Karen Kelsey. Can't get on top of it as much as he would have liked. As it goes out the back and can't get the spin to find that back line. Ethan Lebec back to serve, and it's a service error back the other way for Pebbles to give the point right back. It's now 19-7 in the second set. Pacman taking the opening set 25-20 and leading here in the second, looking to close this one out as the float serve is picked up there by Oliveira, sent over in the free ball by Sugarman. Najjar to the right side. Bramwell finds the sideline. And the cross-court swing by Terrell Bramwell out of that right side pin. It's now 20-7 as Najjar back to serve once again here for Pacman. That hybrid serve is picked up by Callahan, runs the middle to Sugarman, and it's out the back. No contact on the block set by Powell. And the point goes to Pacman once again. They lead 21-7. As Pacman will take on Jaft in the next matchup of Pool A play. Short serve this time by Najjar goes into the net. 21-8. The lead now for Pacman as Yorgo Rowe will go back to serve for the Pebbles. Passed up by Shawan Vernon. Najjar into the middle. They run to Matthew Powell. He's able to cut to position one, and a great swing by Powell. As Basilio will come back to serve. A spinner from Basilio, great serve by Will Basilio. He finds a seam in the serve receive between Paul and Oliveira. As it's now 23-8. As another toss by Will Basilio. Passed up by Callahan, in tight to the net. Set cross off the top of the tape. Set it to the middle again to Powell. As Najar are able to get Powell moving. Kind of running a 30. And it's now match point here for Pacman. Basilio to serve. High toss again by Basilio, takes a bit off. Oliveira passes up, Rowe to adjust. Stays inside the antenna. Over across to Bramwell, the block bet there between Sugarman and O'Brien. This is 24-9. As Luke Paul back to serve now for Pebbles. Passed up by Greenridge. Najar from the pipe to Basilio, and Will Basilio emphatically puts an end to the second set and the match. They take the second set 25-9 and take the match 2-0. Which'll set up our next match between Pacman and Jaft, which will take place, first serve slated for 12 o'clock noon. And the winner of the matchup between Jaft and Pacman will take top spot in Pool A. So 25-20 and 25-9, Pacman take down Pebbles. As Pebbles will finish in the A3 spot. And again, set up a first place matchup between Pacman and Jaft. That'll take place in our next matchup. Join us back for that as you're watching the Volleyball Pro Am here at the campus of Queen's University on Volleyball Source.
All right, we're back, and I'm here for the first time. What's up, everyone? This is Everett DeLore. I'm joined by the one and only Mr. Kyle Compo, who's been holding it down so far. Hope you guys have enjoyed the stream thus far here on Volleyball Source of the 2024 Volleyball Pro Am here in beautiful Kingston, Ontario, Queen's University. Kyle, it feels like it was just yesterday that you and I were here commentating the 2024 U Sports Men's Volleyball Finals. And now we're back here for, this is going to be a banger match. One of the first big matches here of the tournament with Team Pacman taking on Jaft. Jaft is a team out of Ottawa, Pacman a team out of Mississauga. You got a few notable names in this. Siobhan Vernon Evans, Joel Bramwell, Bruno Lotzi. We're about to get things kicked off.
Opening serve of the first set between these two, and they run the middle. And a swing by Warren Taylor. And a great run. And again, both of these teams, Everett winning their opening match of pool play and now competing here for top spot in the pool before they reset this afternoon for power pools.
Yeah, for sure. Warren Taylor, former Ottawa Maverick, Nipissing Laker, played some time in the Czech League too, as that's Jer Murray on the right side, shutting the door on Terrell Bramwell.
Great read on the block that time by Murray. Able to come across. We saw the blocking prowess of Murray in the opening game to finish off on match point. Float serve passed up by Basilio. Najar to the outside. Bramwell off the top of the block. Able to keep it alive. Sent it back over on the free ball. Greenridge set to the right side this time to Vernon Evans off the block and out of play as Pacman get on the board and trail 2-1 in the early going of this opening set. Sean Vernon Evans back to serve.
Oh, nice pull.
Great swing on the outside. They push that outside to Jeremy Murray. Come straight down the line on the swing in that left side pit.
I really like the push out there from Glenn Mark. Just a little cute, right all the way across the net as Bruno Lotzi comes back with a bit of a hybrid.
Najar able to get it up. Bramwell going to send it over on the free ball. Run to that right side to Murray off the block. Basilio there on the block, but can't find it. It kind of gets jammed up in his hands.
Nice little start here for Jaft. I actually have no idea what Jaft stands for. Not a clue.
Bruno Lortie back to serve once again for Jaft.
Oh, wow.
Pace on the serve by Lortie, but passed up on receive. Bramwell gets it on the right side pin. Can't find hands on the swing, and he goes hard cross. And can't paint the sideline.
If you're a new player, if you just started watching Volleyball Source Canadian Volleyball, you may not remember Bruno Lotzi. But, oh my goodness, he just, on cue, puts up another ace. But if you remember back to the 2013 U Sports National Championships, and Bruno Lotzi was a big component as a rookie for Laval team, as a true rookie, which is rare for those Quebec teams, led them to a national championship. He was a baller back in the day. I also got to coach him in club, one of my favorite players I've ever coached.
Great leave that time by Bramwell. Able to come point back to Pacman, who trail in the early going 6-2 as the service run by Lortie comes to an end. He had a great run, pace, and the adjustment on the hybrid by Bruno Lortie on the serve as Powell. Pass tipped over top in the middle. Basilio gets back to the outside and gets the set right back.
Oh, McGurr. Oh!
Set on the swing by Will Basilio, picked up by Matt McGurr, but unable to get it back over.
McGurr was there, just didn't pop it up enough. Also, is that a Caitlin Clark Iowa jersey? Is that what McGurr's wearing right? Yo, that's legit. Matt McGurr wearing a Caitlin Clark Iowa jersey. Woo! Gotta love that. But so far, like, a little bit surprising, you would say, between these two teams. Jaft has really controlled it from the onset. Yo, that's another sick game going on over there, too.
Took Pacman a little bit of time to get rolling in their opening set of the tournament, winning 25-20 against Pebbles. But it was tied at 18 late in that opening set, and then they win 25-9 in the second set to close it out. And they're now back within 2 here against Jaft in the opening set of what's going to decide top seed in the pool before we reset again for power pools this afternoon. As McGurr on serve receive, passed up by Powell. Sean Vernon Evans, high ball to the left side pin, a little too much pace on the forearm set, trying to get it to Basilio. And the overpass leads to another point for Jaft. They're up 7-4.
Not exactly the type of error I'd expect Shawan to be making, but considering they rolled in 9 minutes before their last match, I'm not surprised that they're not completely dialed in yet. Ooh, good choice there by Basilio. I love that play. Get to it quickly, just with the push.
Two-handed flush from Basilio. To see the gaps in the block scheme and the defense set up, and as he said, Everett just really quick to react on that set coming to the outside and seeing where those gaps were on the other side.
Do you know who I have no idea who this kid is. Do you know him? Do you know him at all?
Heard the name a lot, certainly in terms of the club scene and the recruiting scene.
He's a club kid. 18U? Shit. Okay.
And serve from Bramwell. Turns over, picked up by McGurr, sent to the right side.
Oh, what a dig.
Basilio off top of the block and out of play, and a great swing that time by Basilio. A dig by Quentin Greenridge on the swing down the line by Murray.
Yo, I've been missing out on, are these the club kids of today? That dig down the line? That kid was playing 18U last year? Shit. I need to get to more OVAs. Goodness gracious.
Serve that time by Bramwell goes long and out the back, so a service error from Terrell Bramwell gives a point back to Jaft. They're up 8-6. Murray back to the service line. Hard, aggressive serve by Murray. Finds that back line. I don't know if that was a float, a spin, or some combination of everything in between, but what a serve by Murray coming straight in the gap in 6.
You should go. We're gonna set up the webcam so you guys can see the commentators in a little bit, but you should see my face right now. That was gross.
Doesn't get the turn on that one though, as Murray trying to replicate that the second time through.
Can you pass me my laptop?
As Basilio will come back to serve now for Pacman. 9-7, the advantage for Jaft as Basilio trying to get Pacman back within 1. Does he do so with the serve? They're going to say no. A little too much on it. It goes out the back, and the 3-point gap restored now for Jaft. Should be a 9-7 lead for Jaft. Float serve goes at Vernon Evans. High ball to the outside as Shawan Vernon Evans gets up, recycles off the top of the block, gets one back, and Vernon Evans goes OT.
Oh, no, thank you.
Finds the gap between 1 and 6, and a good find. Najar pushes to the outside as Shawan Vernon Evans gets up over top of the block and finds the open floor.
Just straight OT there from Shawan. That's what we expect. Oh.
They're just trying to get the score figured out here. I think it's
10-9 it looks like.
10-9 the advantage for Jaft. Try to get things sorted at the scorer's table before the serve comes in.
There's just a little bit of discussion. What did you think it was, Julia? 10-8. Julia thinks it's 10-8. We think it's 10-8. Oh, it like.
No, it's 10-8.
10-8.
No, clear.
Yeah, she heard you. She heard you. That's it. That's it. We're like the digital score table. Great job, Julia. Our wonderful volunteer, Julia. Julia, what's your last name? We'll give you.
Chow.
Julia Chow is keeping score over here for us, and she's been on it.
Sent into the middle with a great run. Taking out the scorer's table.
That went.
The
That literally took out everything. Some wipes. You okay over there?
All good.
I think we're good, to be honest. I think we somehow managed to do that with minimal. Oh, just my coffee. That's my own fault. Lovely.
Swing was from O'Coin after the serve. And the attack coming back the other way from Pacman. Hold it to within 2. 11-9, the advantage for Jaft as Najar come back to the service line here for Pacman. We get some floor maintenance done. Hybrid there from Najar. Set to the outside, off the block as Vernon Evans and Powell.
Well, just like that, this game is a 1-point game. 11-10 here. I love it I love watching Jazz serve. Something about like a lefty serve. He hits a bit of a hybrid on that one, but oh, wow.
Taking away the attacking lanes, but good conversion by Lortie on that outside pin.
That's a really big block up there because Shawan is going straight up and then over because he knows that Bruno can't go OT and Bruno is still able to chizzy around that block. That one is just long.
Service error that time as swing there from Martin goes out the back. Giving the point back to Pacman. They're within one as Vernon Evans back to serve now. Passed up by Lortie. Martin back to Lortie off the block, and it's deflected back to the open floor. And the Powell and Basilio combined for the block there for Pacman.
That was a solid block there. Matt Powell. Many people may not know that name, but he was a stud back in the day for Pacman. Oh, Shawan. He rips on that one.
Kept over by Lortie, sent back though by Basilio. Martin goes back to Lortie off the block.
Oh, what a track down.
Sent to the outside off the swing by Basilio. They keep it alive, this Jaft. Back to the outside again to Murray.
Again, oh.
Great defensive sequence, great sequence on both sides of the net.
Man, these two 18U kids, Will Basilio and who's the libero? Quentin Greenridge? Whew.
Service error that time by Lortie goes into the net. Reset. So 14-13 now, the advantage for Pacman. As Powell will go back to serve. Great serve by Powell, he's up to receive. Goes right in between Zeithamel and McGurr. And it's now 15-13. Another great serve by Powell. Martin. Tipped over the top. Trying to run it to Zeithamel. And the swings that come outside. And a tool off the block, you're going to say it goes out of bounds after the swing by Terrell Bramwell. Powell continuing to serve. It's a 3-point advantage now for Pacman. Off the tape, able to scramble to get there.
Oh, it gets over. It comes back.
Najar to the outside. Basilio.
Oh, are they going to give that a touch?
Jaff saying no.
I think that just squeaked through without a touch. It looked like it was one of those ones that should, but it doesn't.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it changed enough of a direction for us to see it from our vantage
Yeah,
point here.
and we got a pretty good vantage point. So much so that we are in the red zone. Like, we are in the firing zone for sure out here. Alex is still wiping the floor.
16-14 the lead for Pacman. The serve is there by Taylor. On the right side, Bramwell. Does he paint the sideline? No. The attacking error, no touch on the block. But
Nope,
Bramwell,
David O'Coin called this touch there. Called it that time. I was more impressed by the lines person down the line making that quick call, the quick spot. Volunteers doing a great job so far here.
17-14 after the touch on the attack there by Bramwell. It was a great serve by Bramwell. Back to the outside, straight down the line. They're going to say went into the antenna. And the attacking error this time again from Jaft gives another point back to Pacman. Continuing to extend their lead. It's now up to 4, their biggest of this opening set. And it's
You're gonna have to assume that, Kyle, that with guys like Terrell Bramwell and Jazz and whoever this guy is in front of us wearing the Team Canada top. I've never really seen him before. But you're gonna have to assume that when teams come up against this Pacman team, they're gonna bring that little bit extra. You know, they're gonna bring that, like, hey, let's go toe to toe with these guys and show what we can bring.
Yeah, and having the number 1 beside their name as the top seed in the tournament. Greenridge, high ball to the outside to Basilio off the top of the block. Finds the floor nonetheless, but there's touch on the contact on the block. And it's 19-15 as the lead continues to build here. With Basilio back to serve.
Everything got real quiet there for a second.
Spinner from Basilio, passed up. Good location on the tip out of the middle, but an even better pickup by Greenridge. Swing cross court by Murray. Can't find the court though, as it's just wide. But a great pickup defensively by Quentin Greenridge.
Honestly, I don't really care about these other guys right now. I'm just all about Greenridge and Basilio. Like, that was once again a great I have yet to see anything touch on the left, like the left half of this court without Greenridge getting a touch or being in the area. His reading and tracking is so good. His touch on the ball is fantastic, and Basilio too is just you're really starting to see the level of volleyball really come up in the younger age groups in Canada. And okay,
Service error that time by Basilio goes into the net.
Yeah, like, just as I'm praising you guys pull out one of the worst serves I've seen today. Goodness gracious, what is going on here?
Zeithamel back to serve now for Jaft. Was that Shawan Vernon Evans? Great hand pass, and they run.
Oh, Kelsey.
Kelsey.
That was sick. He runs that real well with Humber, so I'm glad that they've got that here too. Suka, why are you in the chat and not here? Why is the black and gold of Indocan? You always talk shit and say, oh, Indocan can play with anyone. No. And then a real tournament comes up and Indocan isn't here. What's going on? Where are you guys at? Jazzraj.
With a swing off the top of the block.
Oh, Glenn Martin.
I missed the dump there. Was Martin with a set to the right side pin to Bramwell. Finds that gap defensively and a great swing. And Bramwell has been outstanding in the first three sets so far here for Pacman.
It's clear to me that, you know, the 9-minute warm-up wasn't really enough for Terrell. And even like throughout this match, you've seen him kind of start to pick it up and start bringing that heat on. If you guys don't know, like, this is a dude who used to score 50 points in a CCAA finals match for Humber back in 2011. Showing my age here. Oh, I love that from Jazzraz so much. Freeze the blocker, dish it to the middle.
Great contact by Powell as well to get it up over top of the block. As Kelsey back to serve once again here for Pacman. It's 23-16.
Oh, nice little shorty.
Top float there, push to the outside. Kelsey able to keep it alive with a hand pass, but then missed touch on second contact there by Basilio.
I mean, you know what? He was just trying to mimic what Shawan did earlier. Just spray it way out of bounds on the left side out of system set.
Serve coming from O'Coin. Passed up by Basilio. Najar to the outside to Vernon Evans. Off the arms there of off of Zeithamel, comes all the way back over and out of play. A good swing by Shawan Vernon Evans, and it's now set point here for Pacman. And Najar back to serve once again, 24-17.
They started this set here down by 4 pretty consistently and worked their way back into it. As, oh my goodness, Matt Powell ends this one with an emphasis. That was another big swing, but just domination here in set number 1 by Pacman. 25-17. The number 1 seed is rolling.
And the overpass there on serve receive, and Powell just gets up over top and puts it back where that ball came from, and a good end to the opening set for Pacman. They take it 25-17 and lead the match 1-0. Teams are going to switch sides. And again, this matchup to determine the top seed in Pool A, as Jaft coming away with a straight sets victory in their opening match against Pebbles. And Pacman doing the same, 25-20, 25-9 for Pacman in their matchup against Pebbles. And now a 25-20 win for Pacman in the opening set here. And again, at the conclusion of our pool play, we'll get power pools that'll take place at the conclusion. Shortly after our pool plays wrap up, we'll get into power pools, and then that'll set up our playoffs for tomorrow.
Yeah. I'm not entirely sure if it's power pools, but I think it's just, do you re-rank after everyone? I don't know. Someone was explaining it to me. I'm not entirely sure. We'll get Zach Hutchison around here at some point to tell us what is up.
A quick look at our program here can give us some insight here. So calling them power pools, so the reset, it'll be A1, which will be the victor of this matchup here between Pacman and Jaft.
And then B2, so that looks like that'll be, it looks like Blake Shearhorn's team over there is going to be Eastern Elite. That's what, because they just lost the first set and they're up 1-0. And then, thank you, Brenda. And then
C3 will be the third place between Volleyball Pro Am, which is our host, Zach Hutchison's team, Jumbo Shrimp, and We Keep It Up. And that'll, again, account for our power pools. It'll reseed to 4 additional pools of 3. Teams will all reset. And then after the round robin within the power pools, it'll set up our pre-quarter, and then our quarterfinals, semifinals, bronze medal match, and gold medal match that'll take place tomorrow. So Glenn Martin will get us started. Serve to start the second set here between Jaft and Pacman and Najar. Just taking advantage with the dump in tight to the net. And a good location and good timing, and it's the opening point of the second set goes to Najar and Pacman. Back to the outside to Murray. The block is there. They'll try to reset, bring it back in, and Murray will swing away again. This time catches the tape and goes into the net.
Bro, like, as you're watching show get ready, like, you can tell that he's such a professional now, and just in all the little things that he does. Like, as soon as that ball's out of system, like, it's barely off of that first touch, and he's already pushing Matt Powell off the net. Like, the way he's pushing onto the ball, onto the blocks, like, oh, that's legal. Oh, I love that.
What a set there that time by Najar to find Powell.
I think Jazz Najar is a very, very underrated setter. I think it was back in 2023 he was actually, in the works. I don't know if it was the junior team, but I think he was actually in the works with the U23 team as well. I really like the way he runs his offense. I really like how he plays with the timings of his middles a lot. I think he's athletic. He just served that one to the net, but he has a dangerous serve. I really like Jazz is one of those athletes that only York can produce, where it's just they kind of show up out of nowhere and like, yo, these guys are sick. Thinking like Dan Deering, Arthur Schwartz, 2 guys going to the Olympics. Jazz Najar is kind of in that same boat for me. I think he's got a lot to offer.
Great start to the tournament, certainly from Najar, and now Shawan Vernon Evans back to serve with a 4-1 advantage here to start the second set. Able to save that one and a swing through. Najar into the middle to Powell, able to find contact on the swing. It was off the hands there of O'Coin and out of play.
I have to say, like, this Pacman team is the #1 seed. I think they're real solid. I'm starting to. I went to the other gym as well. We've got 4 courts rocking here for the Volleyball Pro Am. Wow.
What a serve by Vernon Evans. What a pickup by McGurr. They're able to keep it alive and tip it over on the free ball, and then the conversion back. Pacman, but what a serve from Vernon Evans.
That was pretty filthy. Goes over and chats with the lines person too. Shakes his hand. That's you know what, to me that's a little bit of gamesmanship for your show. You go make friends with the lines person. If ever you're close on the baseline there on your serve, maybe they don't call it.
That's to the right side. side. Straight down the
Okay.
line by Murray.
You know, in the same way that
By Jeremy Murray.
in the same way that when I used to go to FIVB tournaments on the beach, I'd make friends with all of the security people, you know, bring them water, Red Bulls, whatever, and then they'd let me do things that I previously wasn't allowed to do. So kind of in the similar vein there for, in my opinion, for Schwan Vernon Evans. Another great set. Oh!
Coming across. Good close there, coming across there by Warren Taylor. To meet up on the block with Jonas Zeithamel. Great read that time on the block by
Yeah.
7-2, the advantage for Pacman. Coyne with
Oh.
a hard float serve though.
See, this is where that old man ball starts coming into play. You know, you've been playing like David O'Coyne. Has played for a long time, played for a few real good teams over at Fanshawe College, and has played a lot of men's ball over the years. And, you know, volleyball is one of those, you know, you can age like a fine wine in volleyball. You get better and better as you get older and smarter and smarter. But that one, damn, Will Basilio down in the seam there. That's a pretty filthy swing.
Finds the gap in the block setup between Murray and Taylor. Great pace on the attack there by Will Basilio. Finds the gap in that seam. And now Powell will go back to serve here for Pacman. Just a bit off that time, but it's in tight on the overpass and flushed back the other way by just Karen Kelsey. And the lead back to 4, it's 8-4. Powell. Back to serve again here. Great location on the serve by Powell, but it's picked up nicely by Zeithamel. And the pin moving, the block set up by Murray. They're going to go into the block. They went into the pin on the attack. I'm going to say on the swing, did it go into the antenna before making contact with the block? And I think that's what O'Coyne's trying to figure out here.
Yeah, maybe we just go out with her. Yeah. David O'Coyne not happy with that indecision there. Comes off the bench to chat to the up referee. I think all of our referees are volunteers here, so. And after that, that'll be a Pacman point.
9-4, the advantage for Pacman. Powell will go back to serve once again here.
Ooh.
And the scramble to get there was Martin, and then the free ball sent over there by Taylor trying to find a flush. Just a little bit scrambled here right now on the Jaft side of things. They're trailing 10-4. A couple of tough breaks that didn't go their way.
Yeah.
Some 50-50.
This next set, if it stays, right into Kelsey's hands. I was gonna say, like, Bruno Nolzi needs to get a ball right now on offense. That's who you need to be your outlet right now. But I mean, if I'm Jaft right now, you're just gonna I'd want to bring Jer Murray back from the right side and have him pass. You know, Matt Powell's a really good server. He's got good pace. He's got good hand action on the contact too. So maybe you just go to a 4-man serve receive, treat it like a defense, pop it up high to the middle, and then run a high ball to Bruno Nolzi wherever he is.
The service error leads to a side out from Jaft and a swing away that time by Murray. Run into the middle to Kelsey. He's able to swing with the left hand on the conversion out of the middle that time by just Karen Kelsey.
Dude, Kelsey, I really like his movement in the middle. When he runs that 31 slide too, because he's a lefty, he has that ability to cut back onto it. If he had a little bit more meat on his bones, he'd be a real solid OUA middle.
Great swing that time by Warren Taylor. They run the middle, does Jaft. Find a way to side out. The block was there, closing over with the help from the left side, but just too much pace in the swing that time by Taylor. Able to squeak it through, and it's 12-6. Zeithamel. Sent it to the middle. Kelsey with the swing, set now to the left side. As Lorty pushed a little too far to the outside, tried to make the adjustment, but unable to convert.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you just see with Kelsey running that 31. He loves to cut it back. Unfortunately on that one, Warren Taylor had a really good read and was able to get his hands there in time. As McGurr puts that one out. Oh, Glenn Martin! I love that action so much.
Turns on the 2-ball that time does Glenn Martin. Able to see it in tight to the tape. They run the offense to the outside, but instead of maybe getting the block frozen a little bit, able to swing through. Taylor. Serve now for Jaft, trying to continue to chip away at this lead that Pacman has picked up.
Woo!
Sent over. Come back to Vernon Evans, who finds the back corner.
No. Your lines person is calling. Your lines person is calling that in. The ref needs to look at her lines person and not dumbass McGurr on the sidelines over there.
I think it was in by about 6 feet.
Yeah, that one was not close to being out at all.
14-7, the advantage now for Pacman. Set back to the outside. Larty tips over the top with the left hand. Dejar into the middle.
Oh, good dig. It's up. Oh, no.
Scramble on third contact, and it's out the sideline, but a good pickup though on the hard swing. 15-7 now for Pacman.
How's my volume now, broinator? This is Everett, by the way. Someone had said that my other person could use a volume increase on their mic, and I'm assuming I'm assuming I'm the other person because they've been listening to you all day.
But they know you.
But not if I'm too low.
I got you. Another swing by Vernon Evans. As Matt McGurr in a position to pick it up, but just so much pace coming on that swing by Shawan Vernon Evans. Low to the ground, able to get down there was McGurr, but can't pick it up. Another point earned for Pacman. 16-8 is the advantage. Back to the outside, Murray. Just want to send over. Forearms on the free ball. Set to the outside.
Woo!
Over top of that block because Lorty and O'Coin were there. There's so much spring in the bounce there from Bramwell. Just goes over top of that block.
Yeah, that was just straight OT there by Terrell Bramwell.
Lorty on receive, set to the outside, and Murray answers back the other way. As he swings, as Vernon Evans leaves a little bit of a gap to the outside. But no contact on the block, and Murray's swing goes wide of the court. Another point for Pacman. And pass on receive by Jaft. Tight into the tape. As Vernon Evans just has a look on the other side and takes a bit of pace off. Thought about swinging through and then able to see location instead and just tips it back over. 19-8 is the advantage built up, and Pacman showing Everett why they're the top seed in the tournament.
I mean, they're pretty sick. This is a pretty stacked team. Oh, what a nut! The way Jazz Raz hits that like low, it's almost like a sidearm pitch in baseball. That's the word I was looking for. But he hits that low and flat and across his body, and it just tails. It kind of reminds me of that Miyaura serve that's been going pretty viral of Miyaura from Japan acing Eric Shoji and hitting it off his chest. That's the way Jazz Raz Najar serves.
Well, and we've seen a lot of the hybrid, as you mentioned, Everett, from Najar in terms of his serve so far today. A lot of it's sort of been that has the toss going, but then takes a bit off and has the float come out in the end. But that time he just swung away on that one.
Yeah, the ability to hit both of those serves and to toss it and make it look the same at the beginning is so undervalued.
So after some floor maintenance, maybe to settle down, the service run here by Najar. But it is 20-8 here for Pacman.
Yeah, see, just, rips one and then goes short.
And a response there by Lorty on the right side. Able to get a clean swing through that time and rolls off the platform and out of bounds.
I have a feeling that Bruno Lotzi is going to be very, very sore and tired by the end of this weekend here for this Jaft team.
Float serve by Lorty. Najar able to adjust and finds Powell coming across, and good location and great timing on the run there by Matt Powell.
You know, and to me, I'm going to keep on talking about Jazz Najar here because I love watching him play. But when there's so many times, even growing up as a setter, and coaches say, get your feet to the ball, jump straight up. He's a guy who's kind of floating into it, but his athleticism allows him to run that offense kind of however he's getting to the ball. Ooh,
Great
there we go.
that time on the swing by Jonas Seidhamel. Good defensive scramble and sequence from Jaft, and they're able to get it to Zeithamel on the outside and tools off the block.
See, if Jaft can just keep things simple like that, right? They don't need to get into the high-flying, going OT bouncing game that Pacman's going to play and is going to be the best team at here. But if they can keep things simple and keep the pressure on the serve and just go for the chizzies on offense, then they can play toe-to-toe.
Serve by O'Coin, a hard float serve. The block is there, but it'll come back, it does. Kind of clips Basilio after the contact on the swing. Block was set up, hits Basilio, and the point goes again to Jafter. Back within 10, back-to-back points is 21-11. Float by O'Coin, passed up by Vernon Evans. Najjar, what a set.
Oh, that's up, that's up.
And they play it up on the pass there by Greenridge off the block, and it goes off hands and out, but great pass.
Yeah. Jeremy Murray played this past season for the Vanta Ducks in Finland, heading to Ustinadlabem in the Czechia League, which actually a pretty good team over there in Czechia.
Good pass up this time. Gets recycled off the block, pushed to the outside.
Ooh.
And no contact there. Gonna tried to send it over there with Zeithamel. Looked like it may be a bit of a lift as well. The point nonetheless, either way you look at it, it's gonna go to Pacman. 23-11, trying to push 2 here to wrap up top spot in Pool A. Powell, hard aggressive serve set by Martin to the outside. Block comes across that time as Bramwell combines with Kelsey. Tough to swing through. Match point now for Pacman. They're up 24-11.
Jeremy Murray used to playing in the middle.
He played in the middle in the opening matchup against the
yes.
Pebbles was Murray. Swing that time by Taylor. Back across, the swing out of the middle by Vernon Evans goes out the back.
Nice little fist pump there by Warren Taylor. Pretty stoked that they got that point.
Back-to-back points now for Jaft as they chipping away a little bit here as Murray try to go for the aggressive serve and steal one from the line here and keep the second set afloat here for Jaft. Pulls them out of system. Greenridge pulls it in tight. Basilio in the attacking error. There's another point back to Jaft. They continue to trim into this deficit.
I feel like, oh, actually, no, every point's not going to matter. Every point doesn't matter, but it's a nice sentiment.
And
Okay.
serve from Murray that time goes into the net, gives the second set to Pacman as they take it 25-13 and take the match in straight sets. And Pacman, as the top seed in the tournament, top seed in the pool, they win the first 4 sets of action today, and they will take top spot in Pool A and will set up as the winners of Pool A into the power pools, which will take place starting here shortly as we await for the other pools to wrap up. Again, teams will reseed and reposition in for power pools, and then the results of that will set us up for the quarterfinals, pre-quarters, quarters, semis, and finals, which will all take place tomorrow.
Yeah, I think what's our schedule at? Because I think wasn't this game supposed to start at noon?
It was.
And it's now 10 after 12.
So I think, unless we'll see how the other pools are in terms of timing, but there's no real set time for the power pools to start. They're supposed to start at the conclusion of pool play, but certainly we'll see how that all shakes out and get some teams coming over from Mitchell Hall from the other courts here at Queens to get them over before we get started for the power pools.
I think it's probably best now that we stop the stream, and then we'll restart the stream once we figure out what's going on and stuff like that. So if you guys are all watching right now, we're going to be stopping this stream, and then we're going to get it going again in a little bit once we figure out when the power pools are going, because I think originally they were scheduled to start at 1:30, and we may be seriously ahead of schedule at this point.
I think so as well.
So yeah, we are going to cut this for a little bit, and we will be back shortly with the power pools.
Sounds great.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Well, thanks, Kyle. Are you heading out now?
I am, so I'll see you tomorrow,
See you tomorrow.
for the playoff rounds. So
Cool. Sounds
great.
good. All right,
thanks,
guys.
buddy.
We'll see you in a bit. Thank you, Julia.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, buddy. Thank you. That was great. Yeah, I'll jump back in, see what I can get here as quick as I can tomorrow. Yeah, you and Brenda need to do the. Oh, yeah, that was awesome. Oh, great. I'm sure the girl that was with things like going into grade 10. Especially because that's what all the other sports are doing. Yep. Probably a better idea. Anyway. Okay, buddy. Well, we'll send you a message later. And yeah, definitely be back tomorrow. See you, Mike. See you tomorrow. Yeah, be back tomorrow though.
No worries. It was all Julia, actually. She's the one who was keeping it. So.
Thank you, Julia. They set the sheets up so it's home and away, and I got really confused because it got anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving it that way for